Deep Blue Sea is a 1999 science fiction horror film directed by Rennie Harlin and written by Duncan Kennedy, Donna Powers, and Wayne Powers. It stars Thomas Jane, Saffron Burrows, Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Rappaport, and LL Cool J, and follows a team of scientists in an isolated underwater facility who are researching the brains of mako sharks to help fight Alzheimer's, only for the sharks to go on a rampage after two of the scientists genetically enhance their intelligence in secret. This international co-production between the United States and Mexico that would go on to be a bit of a commercial hit in 1999 and give us one of LL Cool J's more memorable songs. Deepest Bluest. Shark's Fin.
Head like a shark's fin. That's right.
Was Vincent's selection for this stop in Octavia, April, on the mission. Vincent, what say you of Deep Blue Sea?
Well, look, Deep Blue Sea as a black film is a little bit of a stretch. But I think it very much is worth talking about, looking at it through the lens of race, starting with the fact that this is a film that came out in 1999. And the thing about 1999 is that we're in this post-Kevin Williamson, Quentin Tarantino moment where everyone is very self-aware.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of self-awareness when we talk about these movies. And certainly when we talk about thrillers, when we talk about genre films with these casts that frankly are going to get whittled down, we all make these calculations. And a lot of times these calculations are informed by race and gender. There's a whole concept when we talk about horror movies called the final girl. And we talk about, the black guy gets killed first. Like all of these notions. So going into this film where it's just going to, at some point the cast is going to be whittled down.
Yeah, just watching it.
We make calculations as the audience. Thomas Jane as Carter Blake, a shark wrestler.
Isn't he, though?
With a bit of a past.
Of course.
Is absolutely positioned as the hero. So he's going to make it to the end. Saffron Burrows, who as Dr. Susan McLaughlin is sexy doctor who is also sexy, has a bit of energy with Carter Blake. So you kind of put your money on those two.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the cast, you kind of see where it's going to go. This is where it gets interesting. There are two black cast members in this cast. LL Cool J, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
In 1999, Samuel L. Jackson is easily the biggest star in the film. Like by miles. Like you get the sense LL got rapper money, but everybody else is sharing a trailer.
That's right.
And then we're all shooting around Samuel L. Jackson. And even as you said it just now and you look at the credits, Samuel L. Jackson is first on the call sheet, as he should be. And he plays Russell Franklin, who is a businessman and investor in this company that is trying to harvest the brain cells from sharks to combat Alzheimer's disease. And and everyone in this film says this with a straight face.
Yes, they do.
But he also has a past. He has an adventure. And the film very much sets him up as if he's going to have an arc.
Yes.
He has this background, this backstory where he was mountain climbing with some friends and there was a disaster and he led them to safety. There is a bit of an animosity between him and the hero, played by Thomas Jane.
Mm-hmm.
So, you understand as the film goes on, at some point, they're going to come to some kind of, but they're going to come to some type of, at least, grudging respect.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, as the biggest star in the film, and if you look at the trailer, if you look at the ads, he's figured quite prominently. Samuel Jackson is going to be a part of this narrative. And then you have LL Cool J, which, while this isn't his first film role, it's fairly early.
Still early in his, yeah.
And he's billed as Preacher.
Yes.
Who is the cook.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely is he with the rest of the cast. The tone of his parts are different. He's almost in his own little side adventure.
Yep.
So you kind of see where this thing is going.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the surprisingly many smart moves in this film is that it is subversive from the very beginning. From the very beginning, the film lets you know we are going to fight against expectations. The film starts with very much this stock shark movie sequence where there are some couples on a boat, something's bumping into the boat, some sharks attack the boat. Mm-hmm. You assume this is the beginning of your post-Jaws shark thriller where the sharks are taking. But Thomas Jane's character comes, captures the shark, and it lets you know you think it's going to go this way, but it's actually going to go that way. Right. Film goes on, disaster strikes, of course, and you begin to get this whittling down of the cast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it says something very specific about this moment. That Samuel L. Jackson, a black man in a thriller, is positioned to have this pivotal role.
Mm-hmm.
And when the sharks take him out without any type of production,
mm-hmm.
without any type of heroism, it is genuinely a surprising moment.
It is. It is.
And that says a lot about where black actors are, and a black actor like Samuel L. Jackson, that as people who watch thrillers, we are surprised that a black man gets killed. We're actually surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reverse, the black character who seems like he's cannon fodder lives at the end.
Yeah.
So just right there, looking at it through a racialized lens, I find this film fascinating. Because if you saw this in the movies, it really was a reaction in the theater.
It was.
When Samuel L. Jackson gets killed. And the film, once again, being very self-aware, goes for this shock.
Mm-hmm.
Where, again, we are shocked that this black man is killed. The other real racialized moment in the film, you have this wonderful exchange between the two black characters.
Yeah.
Where LL's Preacher says to Samuel Jackson's Russell Franklin, why were you climbing mountains? Like, black people don't got enough to worry about without you basically doing white people shit? Which is 100% what black people say all the time about this type of thing. The irony, of course, is that I'm saying the same thing to LL Cool J, who's decided to sign up to be a cook on this ocean base where they're working on smart sharks in the middle of the ocean.
You gotta go where the job is.
So that is kind of interesting to me. Mm-hmm. Is it a bit of a stretch to talk about as a black film? Absolutely. Do I think it is worth talking about? I do. So there you go. That's the Micheaux Mission part.
Okay.
As a film, look, this is a really dumb movie.
I'm so glad you used that word. That's the word.
This is a dumb movie that has no illusions whatsoever that it is a dumb movie.
It's a dumbass movie.
The plot barely stands scrutiny. This whole bit of we making the smart sharks and then things go wrong does not make a lick of sense. The plot where you find out the sharks are kind of hurting people and somehow they know all this stuff. Well, why would the sharks know about the weather? Why did the sharks know the blueprint of the base? Why would hey, smart sharks. Smart sharks. Turn your brain off. Plug in the smart sharks. Dumb movie. But you know what, Lynn? As a dumb movie that knows it's a dumb movie, I think this is a surprisingly well-made movie.
Yeah.
I think Rennie Harlin, as a director, is a good director. I think this movie zips. I think this movie lets you know exactly where things are going to be. I think the action sequences work really well. Like 201, you know, some of the special effects were a little dodgy even when it came out. Yeah. But even that somehow is part of the charm.
Part of the charm.
Once you go in and you understand that we're not trying to make, well, Nope. Like this is not Nope.
But it's also, they're not trying to make Jaws.
And we're not trying to make Jaws. I thought the script was surprisingly solid. I think all of the characters with a level of economy. The characters become characters fairly quickly and fairly well defined. When you read interviews with Rennie Harlin and the writers of the script, they said they wanted to evoke Alien. Yeah. And have this sort of working class crew. And I think you get that. I think the relationship, Stellan Skarsgård shows up, and his character, Jim Whitlock, it seems, has a bit of a relationship with another character, Janice Higgins, where it's there. It's not really part of the plot, but it's there. You understand it. LL Cool J's Preacher and Michael Rappaport, who also shows up as Tom Scoggins, they have a bit of chemistry together. They do. And a friendship. I think all of the performances are solid to good. I think all of them. Thomas Jane, who is billed as the hero.
He's a hero.
I like Thomas Jane. I always feel like Thomas Jane is a man out of time, frankly. Like, Thomas Jane really gives me early to mid 80s Kurt Russell energy, where the Thomas Jane character is a bit of a meathead, but Thomas Jane, the actor, is aware. Yeah. So it's like, the problem with Thomas Jane is we don't really make the kind of movies that this guy is in anymore. Like, Thomas Jane would have worked really well in Escape from New York.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China, which is what I thought of. But they don't really make those kind of movies for him. I do think there's a parallel universe where Chris Pratt caught a cold and Thomas Jane was in Guardians of the Galaxy, and that kind of affected the trajectory of his career. But he's good. Samuel Jackson is very much punching above his weight in this, with this character, which, come to find out, talking about these interesting black characters, this character was written
for him
because they wanted him to play Preacher's role, and he didn't want to play the cook. So then they said, well, we want to be in the Samuel Jackson business, so we'll make something for Samuel Jackson. Which, conversely, once you realize that LL Cool J's role was written for Samuel Jackson, you understand why it's a little meatier and a little more nuanced than this sort of throwaway character should be. And LL Cool J, I think, really does well. Yeah. He's charming. He's funny. He is a bit of the audience's POV.
Yes.
speaking of this evoking Alien and you know, me loving the working classness of Alien like we talked about a few weeks ago, this is in my top 5 favorite Michael Rappaport performances.
I'm glad you shouted it. I think he's actually very good
and
it.
I really like Michael Rappaport.
He is very good in it.
And you know, like I was trying to think off the top of my head, what have I liked him more in? And I came up with Bamboozled and Higher Learning. Mm-hmm. But I really like Michael Rappaport in this.
He's very good
because he is very much, this whole thing is falling apart and this is how I'm going to act in it. But as much as this is a dumb movie that knows it's dumb, I think it's a well-made dumb movie. So that outside of the interesting racial stuff, I was surprised how much I genuinely enjoyed it today. Like, I've always enjoyed it just as a dumb movie. But like, I was watching today, I was like, wow, I'm really liking this. Lorraine Bracco does some work for a couple of scenes.
Oh, yeah.
So, dumb movie, some interesting black stuff. I really like it.
Right. And actually, you're saying how this is a stretch to make this a black film. I actually don't think it's a stretch. And not so much just because of, you know, Samuel L. Jackson and the kind of like bait and switch that they do with his character in there, but I think because of LL Cool J. Because LL Cool J is in almost, like you said, his own movie, you know, and performing very well at a stage in his career where he's acted before, but he's really making the transition to primarily acting at this point. I mean, that's why, you know, okay, I'll give y'all a song, and he comes up with his head is like a shark.
My head's like a shark's fin.
Okay, LL. Whatever you say. These white people will buy this from you. He wouldn't have sold that to Spike. He wouldn't have sold that to Antoine Fuqua. They'd be like, yeah, bruh. Come on, bruh. Dog, I know you got something else. Where's the real track?
Right.
Where's the real track?
Right.
This bullshit.
Right.
Because even when it comes on at the end, I was like, oh, yeah.
Right. You love LL Cool J so much that you pretended this didn't exist. This never happened.
But I think you can say that this is a black film, especially considering he is in a film all on his own, but the power of his performance made them change the movie.
Yep.
The Saffron Burrows, the doctor, she was supposed to live.
Yeah.
At the end of this film. And the test audiences said, no, she ain't.
Right.
Because her character is the one that started all this.
Yes, she was.
And it's talking about this movie being dumb as a bunch of rocks.
It is. And not the fancy rocks that you get from like Home Depot.
Has there been a more annoying, unbelievable, quote unquote, sexy doctor?
She's a sexy doctor who's also sexy.
Outside of, first of all, the doctor's name is Susan McAllister.
Sure.
Right? The actress name is Saffron Burrows.
Yes.
Like, I feel like it should be the reverse.
Yeah.
There has not been a more poorly cast doctor since Denise Richards in The World Is Not Enough as Dr. Wait for it, Christmas Jones.
Yes.
Nuclear physicist.
Yes. Yes. You don't think she could be a sexy shark doctor who is also sexy?
No. No. Yeah, you know, they only...
At one point, she has to electrocute a shark, but she has to take off all her clothes.
Because that's why I cast her.
Because you got to insulate. Yeah.
Staying on her rubber suit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Please. That's why the audience was like, oh no.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah.
She gonna have to die.
Right. She gonna
have to die.
Yeah.
And she do. But LL really carries this film.
Yeah.
Because
he steps up.
But I like that, especially in this film, he's LL. Like that scene where he was with Samuel Jackson, that's pretty much LL talking to Samuel Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other scenes where, like, you know, his character is like this Christian guy, even though he's a cook.
Yeah.
When he is off by himself, he is legitimately like afraid.
Yeah.
He is scared.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to show his fear. Yet when he has to step up to, like, that self-preservation kicks in. It kicks in.
Yeah.
All the way to the end where he like, no, I am not going out like this.
Right.
This is why my mama gave me this crucifix.
That's right.
Boom, 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 boom.
Stabbed the shark in the eye.
Yo.
Hey, look.
You talk about as surprised as everybody was when Samuel Jackson got in this film. Everyone was just as surprised at the end when LL pries himself out of the shark's mouth.
Right. Yeah.
Like you know this wasn't what was supposed to happen, because not only is he in the shark's mouth, not only is he dragged under the water in the shark's mouth, but there is almost a truckload of blood.
Yeah, gallons.
That is shown emanating from his body.
Yeah. I love the fact that we've spent at this point an hour and 15 minutes showing the power of these. We've seen these sharks tear another shark to shreds, numerous people to shreds, but LL is so LL. The shark is not powerful enough to bite through him.
It can't get through the thigh.
Right. He fights the shark off, and then the shark immediately gulps down the scientist and rips her to shreds. Because she don't got that queen's power in her.
I'll go for the white meat.
Right.
But to me, that's enough right there to have his character as defined as all of the characters are. And yes, they're very much tropes. You know, Thomas Jane, yes, he's in the Kurt Russell role. Saffron Burrows in the Christmas Jones role.
Sure.
You know, Michael Rappaport, honestly, he's just, his role is kind of like throwaway comedy relief and kind of has a loose connection with the Thomas Jane character. It's just that Michael Rappaport is actually doing something with it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. You find out that he had a fair amount of like improvising in there, but he's just that good. Stellan Skarsgård, he's always good,
right?
But he's gone in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
But he's doing so much work.
Well, he is.
Like with the cigarette. Like I was like, he's putting on a class.
He is
just smoking this cigarette.
He is.
Like I think he thinks he's in Antigone. I was like, Stella, you're giving us way too much for a film about smart sharks. Your character has so much interiority.
I like to earn my check.
You know there's a movie about smart sharks.
They're not smarter than me.
Right.
That's how he get down.
Yeah.
So, but as much as they are, I find LL Cool J's character the more fully fleshed out character.
Sure.
And so I actually am fine landing on this as 100% a black film.
Okay.
And you're right. It's dumb as hell.
Yeah.
The special effects are a little wonky.
Yeah, a little
wonky
dodgy
at the time.
Yeah.
They're even more wonky now. But at the time, it was the early computer generated,
Mhm.
sharks that were going on. So you're forgiving it for that. It's just a dumb B movie that's a lot of fun.
Look, I was talking about they don't make movies like this anymore. I think you either have super serious
Mm-hmm.
science fiction / genre films, or it's super tongue-in-cheek Sharknado
Yeah.
type things.
Yeah. Yeah.
This kind of sweet spot, you just don't get this sweet spot like this anymore. Like this is, I know you're not a fan of this film necessarily, but this kind of Buckaroo Banzai, again, Big Trouble in Little China,
Mm-hmm.
where it's not super smart, but it's also not so cool.
Yeah. Too cool for school.
Yeah, it's too cool for school. And it is. Look, I have seen this movie conservatively 5 or 6 times before I rewatched it this afternoon. I was actually engaged watching it.
Yeah.
And again, I know the film. Lynn, I laughed out loud again today. When talking about the direction, that scene is so well done because it is the rising action. Samuel Jackson is in the middle of this character revealing monologue.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting you're getting these close-ups of Jackson and Thomas Jane where you're realizing this is the moment that they're going to begin to respect each other. You think this is when the film is going to turn a little bit, and now they're going to begin to actually come together as a team. And then the shark jumps out and gets his ass.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yomp. And then and they get to his ass. They that shit.
Michael Rappaport says, "I'm not moving from this spot."
Michael Rappaport says, they ate him.
They ate him. They ate him.
They ate him.
And I'm not moving from this spot.
From
they
this
just
spot.
gonna come and they had to come get me. I'm not moving from this spot. And I said, I relate.
I relate to that. But see, and I laughed out loud at that too. But I also laughed out loud at the end when Saffron Chips over here, she goes to sacrifice herself.
Yes.
To the shark, and I think she like whistles or something to call the shark's attention, and LL, who has just got rescued,
Yes,
he's sitting off on the side, and he just all of a sudden like raises his eyebrows like as if to say, "Oh, now you're doing something." I howled because when she jumps into the water, Thomas Jane character is like, "Susan, no." LL is just like,
well, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
So I see where you land as far as it being a black film.
Sure, I'm gonna follow your lead.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, black film.
Do you recommend?
You know what, Lynn? I actually do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I genuinely do. Like I genuinely think this is a well put together film. The concept is really dumb.
Yes.
The idea behind it is really dumb. But I think the direction, I think the script, I think the acting, I think the, plot aside being dumb, I thought the story was well put together, the way it kind of unfolds. Dare I say, I think this is a good movie.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it as it's like, look, y'all, it's a good movie. I think you should watch it.
The funny thing is that I just this weekend rewatched Jaws.
Yeah.
For the umpteenth time.
Of course.
And loved it.
Of course.
I actually watched it telling myself, you know what? I think I'm going to watch Jaws and then I'm going to watch Jaws 2.
Womp womp.
Well, I didn't watch Jaws 2, but
Good.
But you know why? Because, and I knew this all along, watching Jaws again for the 80th time.
Sure.
I realized what I truly enjoy about that film, as much as the whole things with the sharks and everything, I love the camaraderie between Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw.
Of course.
Those characters. And those characters, there's drama there in between them, but they're so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're just watching them bounce off one
Like
another.
you actually wish they had gone on a fishing trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So watching this, and then, we had missed last week, so we're like, all right, so what are we going to do? Are we just going to jump to my movie this week? I said, no, let's do Deep Blue Sea. Because in my mind, this is a perfect part 2 to Jaws.
How about, and I think I think they would take that as the greatest compliment.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly.
You're
because
right.
it's not trying to be Jaws at all. It's not trying to be too serious. It's pitch perfect.
Look, off the top of my head right now, I think there are 3 good shark movies.
Oh.
That are all different from one another.
It's this.
These 2
and
Open Water.
There you go. Yep.
But I think it's really, really difficult to make a good shark movie when the first shark movie was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, what do you, and I think, speaking of the dodgy special effects, when you read about the movie, they said as sort of in contrast to Jaws, they wanted the viewer to see the sharks a lot. So, you actually see the sharks a lot as opposed to Jaws, which is all mood and, at opportune moments. Because, as we all know, Bruce, the shark, was never working correctly. But yeah, I did not know before this afternoon that this has spawned a series.
Me neither.
There are 2 sequels to this, direct-to-video sequels.
Yes. And we'll never see them.
No, well, we'll never talk about them on the Micheaux Mission.
Oh, you're going to watch them?
Oh, my God. Smart sharks. Of course I am.
Okay. I ain't like it that much.